Hi and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is the Monday painting video. What's the Monday painting video about? Well, from last week's Weekly Wednesday, which is a Weekly Wednesday Q&A, you guys get to vote on a host of models, and whichever one wins the most votes, I paint for the Monday video. If there's more than one model voted on equally, then we'll do dice roll, and whichever one wins it, wins it. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, because you don't want to miss anything coming up. And for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a second. Right, so last week's Weekly Wednesday was Imperium Magazine week. As suggested to me by one of my viewers, when I have the Imperium Magazine arrive up and I showcase it on that Weekly Wednesday, then that Weekly Wednesday vote should be something that you want to paint, John. You just pick something to paint and paint it. There's a bumble flying here. Get out of here. Listen up my filming. Go away. So, sorry about that. So, this week, I've decided to paint this guy. This Judiciar or Judiciar, however you pronounce his name. Now some people are going to say, oh, let's take a second just to have a look at this model. Look how much details on there. There's a lot of level work on him, but with that said, you can't just be all leather. You'd have to do different shades of leather, which is the main reason why I said, okay, let me get this guy done, because I really want to showcase and do some leather work and show you different ways of doing leather work. I mean, he's got a cloak on. He's got a sort of robe that sort of comes over him, and I mean, that's his arm from this sleeve. He's got leather gloves on. He's got, you know, just a leather hanging off him everywhere. He's got a glove on his hand, I think. One hand has a glove on. Well, both hands have a glove on. Sorry. There's just a lot of. He's got a little bandito thing underneath his eyes, cover his mouth. Yeah, this is. I love this shoulder pad as well. It's fantastic. So I'm literally going to go to town and just try and get this guy done. Well, not try and get it, I will get it done. But I will sort my wet palette out and show you my wet palette in a minute. See you in a second, guys. Right, so my wet palette's set. I'll run you through this wet palette. I have some Wraith Bone, which is this one, Screaming Skull, Corn Red, Rosdaka Red. This is Rock-Hard Flesh. This is this is Corax White, I think. This is Lead Belcher. This is Mornfang Brown, Gothica Brown, Rhinox Hide, and this white one is, I've forgotten what this is. So do the same colour twice. I think I might have done. Yeah, I think I've done the same colour twice. Okay, that's Retribute Armour. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some Rhinox Hide. First thing I'm going to do is pick out things like this, gun case. It's very simple, very easy. All the pouches and everything that he has around his waist. He's wearing leather gloves, so I'm going to get them. And I'll carry on and just do the rest of the leather pouches and stuff and his gloves. Now I'm going to come in with some Rock-Hard Flesh shade and just pick out his face. his face, his big bald head, I mean. As I've cleared most off the brush, I just want to dry brush the front of his face with it. Just give me that sort of effect so you can see his eyes. Now I'm going to go with some Wraith Bone. And I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. I'm just going to start doing a little bit of his armour for my chapter. You know, the glorious colours that I use for my Space Marine chapter. So I'm going to have camera and do the rest of it. So now I'm going to come in and use Corn Red on the other side, as is my two chapter colours. I'm going to take my time on his shoulder pad. I'm just going to show you where I'm doing it because there's not much exposed on this side, back of his foot. Back of his, obviously his backpack. He doesn't even have the back of his back exposed because he has a sort of a cloak that sort of hangs down off of one arm. So I'm going to go off camera, do the rest because I want to focus on his shoulder because his shoulder is amazing. Right, so now, here's where we're at so far. Now I've got some Corax white, and I get inside the cloak there because it's just a nice little we get the inside the sleeves, just the inside of this inside here. Just to give it the look of the inside is all white. So that sort of angle's a bit hard to see and a bit hard to get into there. I'm going to paint his little mouthpiece, his little cloth that covers his face. Right, so now I'm going to come in with some Mournfang Brown, and I'm going to do the outside of the cloak with his robes with Mournfang Brown. I'm going to do it all the way around. Such an amazing colour next to this wine oxide. Yeah, so I'm going to carry on with the rest of that all the way around. I'll come back to you then, guys. Now I'm going to come in with some lead belcher, pick out a few bits, the skull at the bottom of the blade, the hilt of the sword, so I say. Now with the handle of the sword, I'm not going to paint that as leather because his hand, he's got a glove on and I don't want it just to start taking away from each other. I'm going to come along and do the blade as well. It's a mad looking blade because it's just flat at the end, there's no point to it. Which is a very unusual blade. What else am I going to pick out? That might be it actually. Get this bit up on here. So you're going to do the casing of this silver. I'm going to leave the inside of the hourglass dark. I'm going to just do all those little bits and pieces. Let's get this side of the sword done so you can see. Notice I'm not putting a lot of paint on that brush so you can see, so the black undercoat really stands out, the writing on the blade really stands out. Get in and do the vents. I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. I'll come back to you then, guys. Now I've switched to Judiciar armour, I'm going to pick out bits like this. Really, I've changed brush as well, so I want to get into small little nitty-gritty bits. So bits like this. Bits like this on his knee. And the crest covering his knee, or the top of his knee, shall I say. All these little gold ornaments on his belt buckle, under his neck. This little box here. I want to do this as well. All of this. And cut into here as well. So a bit of a these plague bearers out of the way, as the camera seems to be trying to focus on them and not on what we're doing. Let's try and get into all of these little bits. So, really take my time. I'm going to go off camera and do that, and I'll come back to you then, guys. Let's give you a quick look. I run the Judiciar armour down the trim of the cloak as well, because there's all like buttonholes and buttons. And then I made a little mistake of just doing it along here, so I said, oh, those are quite good, so I just flicked it across. Just to give it a little bit of definition. And now I've gone for some Screaming Skull. And I'm going over the Wraith Bone. This is my new way of doing my Space Marine chapter colours. A lot easier. It does give me a nice crisp finish to it. Screaming Skull will go on bright, as we all know, and dye itself down because it is a layer paint. You can already see how good that looks. And the beauty of doing it this way, when I finished doing the rest of this Screaming Skull, the rest of the model, I go back to the first part and just flick a little bit more onto it. And it really does just make it really pop, really quick and easy. I'm going to go off camera and do the rest. Got the backpack to do and the arm. I'll come back to you then. Fantastic. So now I'm going to have some Lothern blue and come in, just drop some on the purity seals. As anyone that's regular here who's seen my Space Marine chapter knows that my Space Marine chapter, their purity seals are all this Lothern blue, because it really contrasts the red and everything else. So we are basically done there. Actually, no, we're not. I need to do the cloth, the seals itself. So what I'm going to do is get some screaming skull. Let's give them a little touch up. I don't want it to have a nice smooth coat. I want it to have like a rough coat. So it looks like that. So as it dries down, there'll be bits of the black coming through. Right, we are done. So as always, he's now battle ready. But now we're going to take it to the next stage. So once I leave that to dry for a minute, I'm going to come back to you with the next stage. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this lovely contrast paint, which is that one, Polar Glaze. Yeah, is that what it's called? How you pronounce it? It's a very weird paint because it goes on. It just sort of goes really weird. I'm going to get a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to run it along here, along the writing. Just let it fade away as it goes up the blade. So you might just run across the whole blade actually, because I think it looks pretty cool. Very weird contrast paint. I think it's designed to be used for like ghosts and spectres and stuff like that. It's very weird. Even when I used it on I think it was a Glacier base coat, it just looked really weird to me. Now what we're going to do, we're going to switch to a dry brush, and we are going to, the first thing I'm going to take is some Gothica Brown. My brush, and I'm going to dry brush the whole of this leather on the back here. One thing I forgot to tell you that I did as well with the red, I actually took some Wazaka red and I went over it here and there, not everywhere, just little bits and pieces, just to highlight it up a little bit. I started doing it and I was like, damn, I'm doing it off camera, and I was meant to do it off camera. Just going back over, trying to get the top raised areas as much as possible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the brush, and I'm going to come back with some Screaming Skull and dry brush the same area again with Screaming Skull. Too much there. That was a bit too much. Now we are done. Very easy, very simple, very enjoyable paint. I'm glad he's painted because he's been sitting there annoying me for a little while now. There's a few times where he could have won the vote, but the dice roll didn't go in his favour. So I'm glad I listened to the person that said to me, when you go to Imperial Magazine, why don't you pick a models paint? Because I'm glad he's done now. I don't actually see many army with this model in it, unfortunately. Maybe I'll get Alex to run him the next time we play a game. No, he's painted up. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to bring down and show you some print pictures. If you've enjoyed this video, it's helped you in any way, or if you just sat there and listened to it whilst you're doing your own painting, please, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but helps me out in a massive way. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any videos I do. For all my regulars here, guys, you know, I feel love from you. Thank you very much. Massive stars. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy.